questionsfordutch@gmail.com. That's questionsfordutch@gmail.com. That's how you contact this very show to submit your question for a future episode of Ask Dutch Anything. That's what everybody on this list, as it is every single week, has done. And we are going to start off with Bill. Good morning, Dutch and James. Back in the territory days, what things did Dutch actually hit or nearly miss while driving all those miles? Bears, trucks, elk, etc., etc. Any particularly scary events? Thanks.
Well, probably the one I remember the most is leaving a town in Georgia one night, and it was Athens, Georgia. You're not a football fan, are you?
No.
James? Well, Athens is the home of the University of Georgia. And of course, in sports, the most prominent thing ever with the University of Georgia was their football team. And I remember it was the fall of the year, leaving Athens, which wasn't that far from Atlanta. It was about maybe 60 miles, 80 miles from Atlanta. And it was in October. I remember that, or it could have been early November. But that night was a bad night for fog. A lot of fog on the road. So I'm leaving there. Had my wife with me, and she was pregnant with my first daughter, Amelia. And I never will forget it. I was coming around the corner, and I slammed the brakes on and hit. I didn't miss. I hit a big horse. And it was a pretty solid connection, because I killed the horse and messed my car up really, really bad. And and I remember I inched ahead a little bit so I could warn the other oncoming cars that there was maybe a horse laying in the back. And here come this car, and I was blinking my lights, and I had my arm out the window. Hey, watch out. And I remember the guy looking over at me like, get the hell out of here. He hit that horse. His back went up. I don't know. He almost wrecked his own car. And I walked back there and I said, I was trying to tell you. And because he had already hit the horse and went down the road and then backed up a little bit. So I said, I was trying to tell you. But that was probably the biggest thing that I hit. If I'd have hit it head on, the horse would just come straight to the windshield. But as it was, I hit it on the flank, I hit it on the left side. So I killed the horse. And then, of course, when the other guy hit it, the horse was dead by then, probably dead when I hit it. But then when he hit it, it was completely dead. And I remember, this is stupid. The police came out there, the highway patrol, and they said, do you know whose horse that is? I said, no, I'm not from here. I don't know whose horse that is. They said, well, you're going to be owing him for a horse. I said, owing him for a horse? He needs to owe me for my car, because he didn't keep the animal penned up. But I never did find out who owned the horse. And I guess I could have found out, but it was too much trouble then. Back in those days, people weren't as sue crazy as they are now, because you can get sued for anything now. But I made it, and I've got the insurance to fix my car. And when I called my insurance company to fix it, they said, can you find out who owns the horse? I said, no. They said, why not? I said, that's your job. That's not my job. Why would I find out who owns the horse? I just make your jobs easier. If you want to know who the horse belongs to. You guys investigate it. Don't ask me to go down there. I don't live there. So I thought that was kind of stupid. But that was the biggest thing I'd ever hit. I've come close to hitting a lot of other things like 18-wheelers and like big tractors on the road. There's a lot of farming country down there. So, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.